Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Jen. It's lovely to have you here. Today I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of using a meal subscription kit. So fairly recently, well a few months ago, I did a video comparing 4 different meal subscription kit companies, and it was my first time trying any of these and just sharing my different thoughts and experience with each of the different ones. And since then I have actually been using HelloFresh quite a bit. I know I said in that video that I think it was my food bag was my favorite, or bargain box, but I ended up going with HelloFresh because it was just convenient. We really enjoy the food from them, and I like that I can pay from my PayPal account, so it didn't actually affect my bank balance or my budget there, so it was almost like it didn't happen. I get some of my income paid into PayPal, like for sponsored links on my blog, and so the money was sitting there and it was just convenient to use that for HelloFresh. And we use HelloFresh for quite a few months. I'm having a break from it at the moment because we're trying some different recipes that I wanted to give a go. But I thought I would share the pros and cons of using a meal subscription kit in case you are considering using one. And if you do want to use HelloFresh, by the way, I will leave a link or a code in the description box so that you can get money off your first week's order. This is not sponsored by HelloFresh at all. Like I said, it's just the one that we ended up using, and I do have a discount code for you guys. So if you decide after watching this video that the pros outweigh the cons and you do want to give a meal kit subscription a go, why not get some money off? Anyway, on to the pros and cons, and I will start with the pros. So obviously the biggest pro is that it is just so convenient. It just takes the whole mental load off of having to think of what to make for dinner, to make your shopping list, to then have to go and buy all of the ingredients. All of that is done for you, and you just cook what you're given. So the different plans work in a different way. So with HelloFresh, if you just have the if you have the family plan, then you're just given 5 recipes. So we had the family plan, 5 meals for 4 people, and we just got 5 meals, and that was what we were given. There was a week, it was Daniel's birthday week, so in our home for birthday week you pick whatever you want for dinner. So Daniel was choosing what he wanted for dinner for the week before his birthday, and Noah would just have what Daniel had, but Grant and I decided to do the 2-person classic plan and have HelloFresh for ourselves for the week. And on that one, which was 5 meals for 2 people, we could choose which 5 meals we wanted out of a choice of I think 7 or 8. We could decide which 5 we wanted, so that was quite fun, picking which meals we were going to have for the week. But that's just the biggest convenience, is you don't generally have to decide on what to make. It's just decided for you. The second pro is you don't have to think ahead, and you don't have to remember to take something out of the freezer to defrost so that it's ready for you when you go and cook dinner. You just don't have to think about it at all. You can be busy, out and about, get home, and you know that all of the ingredients are there and ready. Your meat's defrosted, it's just ready for you to make dinner, and you don't even have to look at the recipe beforehand. You can just walk into the house and know it's all ready for you. So that is a real pro, because how many times did I have my meal plan and I would just forget to take the meat out of the freezer, and then all the wheels would come off when it's time to cook dinner. The next pro is that we just found the food so delicious. We really enjoyed all of the meals. I don't think there's been one meal that we just didn't like. I think we had a chili that was quite bland. We didn't love it, but you do get a chance to rate your recipes at the end of the week. You don't have to, but you can if you want to, and I think it possibly steers them towards which meals they send you. I don't know, but I just rated most of them like highly because we just really enjoy all of the food. Really tasty, really yummy, and some flavor combinations or ingredient combinations that I just wouldn't have thought of. The next pro is that they are just easy to cook. You don't have to be an experienced cook to be able to follow the recipes. This is at least for HelloFresh and all of the ones that I tried in my previous video. They're just really basic. They cater to everybody, experienced cooks, inexperienced cooks. They are easy to follow, they're laid out really simply, step by step, and I would think anyone could do them. Sometimes when you find recipes on the internet or on blogs or on Pinterest or whatever, and you think, oh, that looks delicious, I want to try that, they may not be easy to follow or basic, and you may not even be able to get all of the ingredients. But with a meal kit subscription. Everything's given to you and it's very easy to follow. And that is the next pro. Everything is given to you. So if there's a random strange ingredient that you may not be able to get in your local grocery store, it will be included in the kit. And everything is, or most things are portioned out so that if you need, I don't know, 100 grams of mayonnaise, that's what's included. You don't have to go and buy a whole jar of mayonnaise, use 100 grams of it, and then have the rest of the jar sitting there, or whichever ingredient it is. I really enjoy that you get given the ingredients and it's just enough for the recipes, and then your fridge is cleared out at the end of the week and you don't have little bits and pieces of things that you might not use again. And then the last pro that I want to mention is that you get to keep all of the recipes. There have been recipes that I've later gone and recreated. I will mention that it might be worth weighing things. So for example, if we are told in the recipe to add 1 packet of rice, that is included and portioned out, and then 3 cups of water, and then the rice will turn out this way, I would recommend weighing that packet of rice and just jotting down on the recipe card how much that packet weighs, because if you go and recreate the recipe later, it goes 1 packet of rice and you don't know how much rice was in that packet. So there's a bonus tip for you. But I love that you get to keep all of the recipes. You've tried them, you know they're easy to cook, you've enjoyed them, and you can just recreate them anytime by buying those ingredients and recooking it. Okay, moving on to the cons. So the service we used had 5 meals in it, and so you kind of want to cook those 5 meals for those 5 nights in a row, because things don't really stay fresh longer than 5 days. So that is a con, that if something comes up and you're not home to cook dinner one night, there's an event that you're going to, you're invited out to dinner, you can put the meat portion of the meal into the freezer, but there are some other fresh ingredients that could end up going bad if you don't cook them. So I know this doesn't suit everybody. I know that Young House Love on their podcast talked about this and why it didn't work for them, because things would come up quite often and then they would feel like they had to turn down invitations or opportunities because they had this meal waiting at home to be cooked, or else it was going to go bad. So that is something to consider. You can choose to have 3 meals for the week or whatever. You don't have to have the 5 meals, but if you choose the 5 meals, you kind of need to do them 5 days in a row. And with HelloFresh in particular, they usually write on the chicken recipes, eat me first. So you may end up having chicken 3 nights in a row and then moving on to the other ones, or chicken 2 nights in a row. There were a couple of times where we had 3 chicken meals in the 5 meal bundle, and then, like I said, we ended up having chicken 3 nights in a row because we didn't want it to go bad. Another con is that there may be ingredients included that you can't eat or that you just don't like, and then they end up being wasted. There were a few times where we had recipes where coriander or cilantro was included and none of us likes it. Apparently it's genetically determined if it tastes like soap or not to you. We all have the gene in our family, and none of us like cilantro or coriander because it tastes like soap. So I would be like, thank you very much, and put that straight into the bin. And that's just a waste, unless you kind of keep it and find someone to give it to, which, yeah, that's more of a hassle than I wanted to deal with. So some ingredients may end up getting wasted. Another con is that you're cooking a fresh recipe every single night, which could be a pro. We really enjoyed the variety. That was really good. But one of the reasons I'm taking a break from HelloFresh at the moment is I just wanted to cook on autopilot. I kind of got tired of having to read a new recipe and follow that every single night and have to pay attention to that. And I just wanted a break to just cook some easy basic things where I just didn't even have to think about it. I've cooked them 100 times before, thousands of times before, and I could just cook on autopilot. So that is something to consider. It's great having a fresh new recipe every single night, but sometimes that can be a little bit of a burden as well, having to follow a fresh new recipe every single night. Another con is that it can be challenging if you have any dietary restrictions, if you have things that you can't eat, or if you want to follow a particular plan like paleo or keto or anything like that. So there are so many things that I can't eat. I have a lot of food intolerances and allergies. I can't eat gluten, dairy, corn, potato, and a whole bunch of other things. And a lot of the recipes had to be tweaked by me. I showed in my meal kit subscription comparison video how I tweaked them for me. It wasn't a big deal. It hasn't been a big deal. But sometimes there are meals that I just can't tweak. I just can't change it to suit me, because then the whole meal just falls apart. For example, there was once it was like a creamy, cheesy pasta dish. So I could substitute the pasta for gluten-free pasta, but all of the ingredients in the cheesy sauce I couldn't eat. So I couldn't eat the flour as a thickener, the milk that was used in the sauce. I couldn't eat any of the cheese. And when I start to extract those things, I end up with just pasta. So luckily that week I actually had girls' night, so I went out to eat and the rest of my family made that meal, and I just didn't have to adapt it for myself. But that is a con. Sometimes you have to tweak the recipe, or it may be difficult to fit in with food allergies or intolerances. And then the last con is that it is expensive. It is more expensive than planning and shopping for your own meals. Of course it is, because they're all done for you and you pay for convenience in the end. I mentioned the pricing in my comparison video, and yeah, that's another reason that I'm taking a break for now, because we have some other financial goals we want to meet, and I just didn't want to be spending that much on food. Food in New Zealand is expensive anyway, and if you use a meal kit subscription service, you are just increasing the cost of your food or of your groceries. So that is definitely something to consider. For some people, they think it's worth it, and I definitely think it's worth it some of the time. I just am not going to be doing it all of the time. So those are some of the pros and cons of using a meal kit subscription service. If you can think of others, please leave them in the comments below and we can all learn from each other. Do check out my comparison video. I will link it in the description box down below. I have linked it in a card somewhere in this video as well. But if you want to see the different services that I tried and what I thought of them and how I adapted them to my restricted diet and what kind of food that I made, it will all be in that video. Links to all of the subscription services I've tried will be down below, and don't forget that discount code if you do want to try HelloFresh for yourself. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.